What human activities have the greatest environmental impact? The IPAT equation tells us that human impact on the environment is a function of population, affluence or consumption, and technology. Growth in population numbers will result in increased use and consumption of resources, thus increasing consequent environmental impacts. Technological improvements could lessen environmental impacts through efficiencies and cleaner production processes. But does the societal value of technological improvements align to the environmental costs of new technologies? What has happened to the equation with the rise of industrial agriculture and its major technological inputs? Industrial agriculture is characterized by huge-scale monoculture farming, high inputs of capital, pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, chemicals, and a significant reliance on fossil fuels. Made possible in the 1940s by improvements in technology, this revolution gave rise to exponential increases in agricultural yields. Production increases were so incredible that a farm's output in the year 2000 averaged 12 times as much in 1950. This revolution is credited with having helped to avoid widespread famine. But it didn't only feed more people, 4 billion in the period, it also fed people more. Calorie intake increased across the globe in developed and developing nations alike. So is this really all good news? A growing global movement is not so sure. Modern agriculture has removed food both temporarily and spatially from the population that is consuming it. An Australian national survey found that 92% of children did not know bananas grew on plants, and 75% thought cotton socks came from animals. 27% were convinced yogurt grew on trees. Demand for food at cheap prices also revolves around efficiency. Producing more food in less time ensures capital and labor can be optimized. For example, an hour's work in 1998 bought 11 times as much chicken as in 1990. The price of chicken has dropped dramatically as a direct result of the intensive farming methods. On poultry factory farms, up to 30,000 chickens could be held in an area where each has just an A4 page of space in which to live. A chicken you buy on the shelf at your local supermarket is, on average, only 35 days old.
This isn't farming, this is just mass production like an assembly line in a factory.
It is increasingly apparent that it is virtually impossible to mass produce clean, safe, nutritious foods at rock-bottom prices. At an environmental level, modern agricultural food production contributes to a third of total environmental impacts, measured in terms of emissions into air, soil and water sources, the use of energy and natural resources, as well as the deposited waste of the activity. But the price tag of food at the end of the day does not reflect the environmental or even the social cost. We put this to the test using 2 trolleys and 300 rand. Vast quantities of cheap, nutritionally compromised food have become increasingly available and convenient. Cheap food that is easily accessible is not good food. It is food that has been manufactured rather than grown. The hidden costs of manufactured food-like products are being seen in the impact they have on the health of the people consuming it. Most obviously, obesity and diabetes rates have skyrocketed, causing significant economic losses to society. So what are the alternatives? A backlash against the environmental and social impacts of conventional industrial agriculture created a movement that demanded a healthier food and farm system, resulting in organic and subsistence agricultural efforts in the late 1990s. Today, these natural farming methods are emerging in the urban environment.
That's the community-supported agriculture scheme. The box itself is the bridge, and people buy the box. They belong to the wealthier part of the community, most of them, and they become conscious of who's growing those vegetables, and more and more of them come to meet the farmers and see where the vegetables are being grown.
Talk about abalimi, we don't use any chemical. Anyone been trained by abalimi to work with abalimi is pure organic. If you're not organic, we not work with you.
This year, the UN has recognized the importance of urban agriculture as a means of reducing poverty and improving global food security through sustainable farming practices that manage and protect natural resources. Urban and peri-urban agriculture is defined as the production, processing, marketing, and distribution of crops and animals and products from these in an urban environment using resources available in that urban environment for the benefit largely of residents from that area. In South Africa, it is estimated that between 300,000 and 500,000 households and 2 million people are involved in urban agriculture. Of these, 60% of crops are grown on household property, in backyards designed to support subsistence consumption. However, 27% of crops are grown on communal land and typically are cash crops that are sold to generate an income. Many family farmers operate in both areas.
I'd rather come here than anywhere else. The other thing I like is that I don't want all that fancy packaging. When you go to other major chains, you get all this fancy packaging. I'm very averse to that. So I'd much rather come here to a traditional shop with really good quality food, and then I know what I'm eating, I know what my family's eating.
Urban and peri-urban agriculture is considered widely to hold significant potential for reducing the externalities of modern agricultural practices and improving the urban environment.
Everyone now eat better. We eating the things we didn't used to eat.
And
we grow the things we didn't grow before. Really, we are good. We are good.
Urban agriculture may appear low-tech, but perhaps this is the point we're missing. Going back to the technology of natural living systems, urban agriculture and the organic food production method is returning our future to its roots, and in so striving to reduce the environmental impacts of human behavior.